Bit 16, you've never seen a review like this. Weird old games you cannot tame, this world that you miss. SNES Man is the champion, he is 16-bit. SNES Man is the champion, he is 16-bit.
Hello, my name is SNES Man. To celebrate this cheery, heartwarming holiday, I thought I would review a game about horrifying subterranean aliens that want to rip you to shreds. You guessed it, it's Super Metroid. Let's get down to gaming. Here is our honestly creepy title screen. Let's check out the story.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
Okay, so the voice synthesis sounds weird nowadays, but it was probably the coolest thing ever in 1994 when it came out. I just wouldn't know, I was in diapers at the time. Anyway, in a foreboding intro cutscene, the famous bounty hunter Samus Aran gets a distress signal from a laboratory where the last living Metroid is in captivity. So she rushes off to save the day, and we have our first level. When you're in the laboratory, a wannabe pterodactyl named Ridley suddenly appears out of the darkness and steals the Metroid that you were trying to get. Then it hides in Planet Zebes, and it's up to you to retrieve the creepy little alien baby. And that's our story. The game tosses you into a creepy alien planet, and it doesn't hold your hand. Like the old days of Zelda, Super Metroid puts you in a threatening world and there's no linear path. You have to find your own way around. In fact, the game's central theme is exploration. Sure, you get to bust a cap once in a while, shooting gross alien monsters, but the game isn't really about action. It's about navigating through a world where everyone and everything is out to get you. What a cheery game to play in the holiday season. Ho ho ho! Super Metroid has a huge game world. I can't begin to describe how many layers and areas there are to explore, it's just beyond description. You have the eerie blue jungle of Brinstar, the fiery depths of Norfair, and the waterlogged cavern of Meridia. The music changes and perfectly suits the mood, even though there aren't very many famous melodies. It's not like Zelda where you'll be humming the tune for days and days, but the songs still have a great atmosphere in them. The creatures in the game are really weird. They're all nasty-looking aliens. Some of them are kind of dull and bland, like these little spiky bugs or bat creatures. Some of them are really cool though, like the flying plant monsters with hooks for hands, and the space pirates. They're pretty cool in their weirdness. Although they do move around kind of like creepy stalkers. They remind me of those putties from Power Rangers. Both give me nightmares. What can I say? Video game creatures are scary. So how does Samus kill all these terrifying enemies? With her arm cannon. No duh. The controls are really tight and responsive. You can dash, jump, and shoot in all directions with relative ease. What's weird though is that Samus isn't the swiftest of game heroines. Sure, she can run fast, really freaking fast when she has the speed boots, but her aerial movement is slow, kind of like Neil Armstrong jumping on the moon, but not half as exaggerated. This isn't really a flaw in the game as much as a stylistic choice. Now, I personally prefer games like Mega Man X where you can leap around really fast and dodge attacks, but Super Metroid is good in a different way. This game's not really about fast action, it's just exploration, so her high, slow jump is better suited for this kind of adventure. Samus is a pretty powerful character. She has all kinds of classic upgrades that can stand up to Link in quality. There's the charge beam, the wave beam, a grappling beam that lets you climb to new areas, the famous morph ball for small places, and my favorite item, the ice beam. It lets you turn your enemies into alien sickles. For once, you get to freeze things instead of being frozen. There are so many games that make you get frozen, so this is your great time to have revenge. Super Metroid has all kinds of hidden items like missile and weapon upgrades. It's not mandatory that you find them, but for hardcore Metroid fans, that's the real goal of this game. It's kind of like an RPG, you get stronger as you go. Man, Samus is pretty awesome. Unlike most female characters in video games, she actually does things instead of sitting around waiting to be rescued. And since we can't see her face, she just seems solemn and mysterious. And you know what? She inspired me to make a big stylistic change in the SNES Man show. From now on, I will wear a helmet so that you can't see my hideous face, and I'll seem mysterious. See, I look mysterious already. This is awesome. This is like the second or third best idea I've ever had. Okay, well, back to the commentary. Let me just fiddle with my mask for a second. Okay. Super Metroid has really impressive graphics. Unlike most 16-bit era games with their bright colors, Super Metroid is dark, subdued, and ominous. It just has a haunting feeling, and there are some scary moments like when Crocomyre's skeleton jumps out of the lava after you thought you killed it. All the bosses are made of big and impressive sprites. My favorite is Kraid, who looks like a crocodile who ate too many Twinkies and glued spikes to his stomach. Another cool boss is the previously mentioned Crocomyre, a grody red lizard that falls in the lava. Ridley, the flying monster, also returns in a ridiculously hard fight. I couldn't even work out a strategy for this part, but I won eventually with luck. The final boss, Mother Brain, is pretty horrifying, and the whole battle with her is a great finale. It's a huge game in scale with oh yeah, you guys can't see my facial expressions. Screw this! Back to my gross old face. It's a huge game in scale with 1 million rooms to discover and countless upgrades to find. Luckily, there's a well-implemented save feature so you can pick up your adventure right where you left off. Now, I'm not an expert at exploration games, but even I can tell this is a classic. This is possibly the best game in the whole Metroid series.
Things to make it better.
More interesting enemies. Some of the monsters are boring, like those little spiky bugs that are so common. Make the Ridley fight easier. It's hard to work out a battle pattern against him, especially if you don't have a lot of weapon upgrades. And finally, less confusing paths. Sometimes it's too easy to get lost in the maze of the underworld. Well, that's pretty much all I can find wrong with Super Metroid. It's a really great game, and while I don't think it's perfect, it is a real classic that everyone should play. Super Metroid scores a 9 out of 10. Now, if you're a hardcore Metroid fan, you can disregard my complaints and give it a 10. So that's Super Metroid, a really great game. But, since it's the holidays, I won't end right here and make this a crappy review. I'm going to have a glorious song from Super Metroid that'll just make your holiday season warm and fuzzy. Here it is.